Back at it again, and we got to talk about TYT and Cenk Uygur. And if what he says is a widespread thing, Biden's in some major, major trouble. Even more trouble than what we previously thought. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
I'm going to say a couple of surprising things here. First, I'm going to agree with Kennedy on 4 things. Then I'm going to tell you why what he's saying is partly a trick. And so, be careful, about his tactic here. But then I have something even more surprising to say. All right, so first, let me tell you the things I agree with. The headlines are wrong. He didn't say that Biden is definitely a bigger threat. He said he could make an argument for that. And you've got to be careful with that. And you know what the mainstream media loves to do. They love to smear anyone who's an outsider. So boom, they took that as an opportunity to do that. So he's right about that. Number 2, he's right to be concerned about Biden being a threat to democracy himself. Maybe not for the reasons that he's stating, but Biden did support anti-democratic movements within the primary. The Democratic Party canceled the election in Florida. They try to keep out every candidate in North Carolina, Tennessee, etc. So they love to rig elections. Yes, I use the word rigged, okay? So you can go cry about it if you're mainstream media. How about you do your job and talk about how they canceled the election in Florida in the primary and just declared Biden the winner. So if you're gonna...
I don't often agree with Cenk, but I gotta say, he's not lying. For a party who always talks about threat to democracy, the only party that I see being an actual threat to democracy, even though we live in a constitutional republic, but the only party that I see being a threat to democracy is the Democrats. It's the Democrats. You just heard him say it right there. Florida canceled the election and just declared Biden the winner. What? Huh? The only reason why RFK Jr. is running as an independent is because of all of the roadblocks that Biden and his administration and Democrats put up, to slow him down or to stop him. RFK Jr. is a Democrat. People have somewhat forgotten that, I think, right? RFK Jr. originally ran as a Democrat. That's the way his campaign started. He switched to an independent because of what Democrats were doing to him, right? So when we talk about being a threat to democracy, and we don't even have to touch on the whole Trump situation. We already know about that. You try to take off or trying to imprison your biggest political opponent. Come on now. If you truly believe in democracy, let the people decide. Let the people decide. What are you afraid of? You believe in a democracy, right? Goodness gracious. A classic example of Democrats accusing the other side, or Republicans in this case, of exactly what they are doing. I've said that's one of the biggest things that I've learned on this journey of discovering the truth, is that Democrats will point the finger at somebody else, mainly Republicans, right? They'll say, oh, Republicans are doing this, when really it's Democrats doing it. It's the craziest thing, and they get away with it. Like, that's the craziest part too. But let's jump back in.
Make the argument that you're a champion of democracy. You should probably try it in your own primaries. Third thing he's right about is that the establishment in a lot of ways has killed democracy long before Donald Trump tried to. Now, how did they do it? They did it with donors. Donors now completely control our politics. And as I've explained in Justice Is Coming, my book, there's been Princeton Northwestern study done over 20 years showing that if you're in the bottom 90% of Americans, your influence on policy is 0%. If you're in the top 10%, you have excellent influence on policy. Does that sound like a democracy to you? So we lost this a long time ago. Number 4 thing he's right about is they're constantly using fear, both sides. The right wing with the immigrants are coming, the LGBTQ people are coming, the Muslims are coming, be afraid, be afraid. Biden with, oh my God, Trump's a monster, he's gonna take away everything that you care about, be afraid, be afraid. So that's a lot I agree with RFK Jr. on. So the reason why I say it's a trick though is he's trying to have it both ways because he's trying to get Republican and Democratic voters. So he wants to say something that'll appeal to Republican voters. Or maybe Biden's a bigger threat to democracy. Come Republicans, vote for me. Then when people get mad at him and yell at him and he thinks he's going to lose Democratic voters, he comes out and goes, no. I meant this, and this. So that's the old plausible deniability trick, right? Where you say something to get votes from one side, and then when you're caught, you say, well, technically, I didn't say that. But brother, why did you frame it that way? You know, when I say it, I'm very clear about what I'm saying. Whereas he's now become a little bit of a politician and hence plays these games. So, but the most surprising thing is, for the first time today, I'm now considering RFK Jr. Now,
what?
I know, shocking, right? And no, hold on. Let me tell you why. So is it because I think, maybe he's right about vaccines? No, he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on vaccines. And on several other things where he believes in conspiratorial theories that I don't believe in at all. So why on God's green earth would I consider RFK?
I mean, it really shouldn't be that shocking when you consider that Cenk is a staunch Democrat. RFK Jr. is a Democrat. Joe Biden has done some absolutely terrible things to this country. His policies are absolutely garbage. The way he's running this place into the ground is absolutely scary. So when you consider all of that, plus more, okay, you talk about how he is showing his age at a rapid rate. And I want to make it that distinguish. I want to distinguish those two things because people talk about age, right? And they make it seem as if age in and of itself is a bad thing. Age is not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing to grow to an old age, right? But when you're showing your age, that's the difference, right? Joe Biden and Trump are almost the same age, but they don't move the same, right? They don't speak the same. Right? You can see there's a clear difference. Now, I'm not saying Trump is like a spry chicken, like he's 19 years old or something, like, no, of course not. Of course not. But he's not showing his age the same way Biden is. I mean, Biden's tripping over sandbags and I'm sorry. I just had to go there. I had to go there. And mumbling through all of his words. You know what I mean? So when you're showing your age, there's a big difference. RFK Jr. is quite a bit younger, and he's a Democrat. So it shouldn't really be that surprising. And I don't know why it is to Ana Kasparian, who recently went off on the far left. Went off on them. Matter of fact, I think I made a video on that, or maybe a short. I don't remember. I don't remember at this point. But yeah, so like to hear her say, well, like be surprised. You just went off on the far left because of their terrible policies. And now you're surprised where Cenk is like, yeah, I'm hopping ship. I gotta do something else. And I think I'm gonna support another Democrat. I don't know.
Jr. Well, until now I hadn't because of those crazy things that I don't come anywhere near believing. But I thought about it, Anna, and Trump I would never support in a million years. Biden is now funding a genocide and is an awful choice, has been corrupt his whole life. You're never gonna get anything but corruption from Joe Biden. So am I positive RFK Jr. would be worse? He would probably, on health and science, definitely he would be worse. But on everything else, like anti-establishment, money out of politics, I'm not positive RFK Jr. would be worse than Biden.
Oh, okay. I mean,
no. Anna, that is not an endorsement or any kind of like, go get him, rah, 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 RFK Jr. statement. That's a statement of how awful our choices are. Like that.
I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that, the RFK Jr. is a better option. And I don't know if you saw these headlines. We didn't cover it on the show, but he did reach out to a very specific person to be his VP. And she rejected him because she thinks that there's a good possibility Trump will ask her to be VP. And that person is Tulsi Gabbard. And by the way, I'm going to put it here right now. I am predicting that it is likely Trump is going to pick her for VP. I can feel it. I can feel it in my gut.
You might be right about that. Look, anyone who considers Tulsi Gabbard already is another massive strike. Again, all we have.
Anyone that considers Tulsi Gabbard, who is a former Democrat, by the way. That's hilarious, man. That is hilarious. Which, hey, listen, I told you guys, because I kind of agree. I think Trump's movements this time around, some of us, a lot of us, I should say, are going to scratch our heads at like, why did he do that? Why did he put this person in that position? Why did he pick her? You know, why did he pick Tulsi Gabbard? Which obviously to a lot of us is like, But to Trump, I think he's thinking the bigger picture. She's a former Democrat. It lowers the temperature of the room. It takes some of the sting out of mainstream media, knowing that she's a former Democrat. So, you know, now they have to play different types of games instead of him picking, you know, someone who's a staunch Republican that they can just rail against the same way they rail against him. Oh, well, she's a former Democrat who felt betrayed by her party and she left. So now you guys are going to rail against her? Because a lot of your party is feeling that same way. You know, do you really want to do it? You know, so it's a game of chess. It's a game of chess. And I get it. Some of y'all may not agree with that. Hey, I hear you. This election is going to be one roller coaster, one wild ride. And even if you want to go back to what Cenk was saying, I think there's a lot of Democrats who feel the same way that Cenk feels. And if that is the case, Biden is in serious trouble, because if there are enough folks in, you know, some of these swing states where, you know, things will get a little close, if you got enough people like Cenk, Biden is cooked. I mean, he's already cooked according to the polls, but if you have even more people that think like Cenk, that support Cenk and watch TYT, right? Democrats who are watching this and like, man, I actually agree with Cenk. You know, Biden's got some serious problems. Because RFK Jr. is a Democrat. He is. Through and through. So, I mean, he already had some problems with RFK Jr. being on the ticket, which is why I think you'll see even more efforts from Democrats to, you know, slow him down a bit, right? Slow him down, and especially in the swing states, because they know he's going to take away from Joe Biden, which is also funny how they tried to push the narrative that he's going to take away from Trump. He's going to take all this away from Trump. No, he's not, because we all know he's a Democrat. He's not a Republican. He's not a Republican at all. The only reason why he's running as independent was because y'all forced him to. That's it. He didn't do that by choice. He wasn't like, yeah, I think I'm going to move my politics closer to the middle of things, you know, and I'm going to run as an independent. Like, no, y'all set up too many, roadblocks for him. And so he said, you know what, I'll run out as an independent because y'all doing a whole bunch of BS over here. And now it's going to come back to bite you. And Cenk is, I don't know. Well, let's see. Yeah. Cenk's YouTube channel has almost 6 million subscribers, 30,000 views on this one video. So he's got to have a little bit of pull, right? He's got to have a little bit of pull. But what do you guys think, man? Let me know. Last thing is this whole narrative that we don't have any good choices. Because I hear people say that, right? Mainly Democrats. Well, you know, because we don't have any good choices. Well, you do realize there was a primary happening. I mean, you could have chosen someone else other than Joe Biden. You do realize that, right? You know, you could have chosen someone else. I mean, we could argue that all that effort that you put into trying to get Nikki Haley. Can't believe they actually tried that. Could you believe Democrats tried that? They tried to get Nikki Haley in there over Trump. Nah, bro. Nah. We too strong over on this side. It's gonna take a lot more than that to stop us, baby. Okay, but they tried. They tried. Hey, you know, I give them an A for effort. I give them an A for effort. But that's still funny though. You know, instead of putting that effort into Nikki Haley, maybe they should have put that effort into picking someone else other than Joe Biden. They had other choices. What was it? Marianne Williamson and I forgot the guy's name. Crap. Yeah, I can't think of the guy's name that was on the ticket as well. But you know, they had other choices and they chose Joe Biden. So if you think you have bad choices, blame yourself, because us Republicans, we have a great choice. You know what I'm saying? And I would argue everyone has a great choice in Trump. You know, what's so bad about Trump? Life was better when Trump was in office. If you put politics to the side, names to the side, you forgot everything. Forget Democrat, forget Republican, forget Trump, forget Biden, forget all of it. Forget red, forget blue, forget it all. And you just think about your life 4 years ago in comparison to now. How much money were you spending at the grocery store? How were those gas prices? Right? Were we on the brink of World War III? Right? I'm just saying. I mean, it's simple. If you put all of that to the side, names, politics, all of it, and you just think, how was life? I mean, it's as clear as day. It's as clear as day. But hey, you know, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions on this in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.